Hello my friends, and welcome back to my channel, Coffee Tea Paper. My name is Louise and I am back with another ink to look at and share with you. We can have a chat about it, see how it behaves on different papers. This Tomoe River paper in my Sarika Studio journal. This paper in the Ferris Wheel Press Colour Spectrum Swatch book, which is like a cold press watercolour paper. And just have a bit of inky fun. Now, I'm also going to introduce a new bit of desk bling that I have, which is this Ferris Wheel Press Ink Carriage for the 20ml bottles. So the Ferritales inks tend to come in these 20ml round bottles, which the 38ml bottles are fairly tenuous. So they've had their ink carriages, such as this one, designed to help with putting your ink dip pens in, refilling your fountain pens, etc. But there hasn't been anything for these little round 20ml bottles. I'm very excited to give it a try because I normally clutch these in my hands because I'm just so frightened of knocking them over because they're almost like balls. They're so round. So let's have a talk about the ink first, and then we'll get it out and look at the ink carriage and bring the two together. So today we're looking at this next ink in the Midas, the King Midas series of inks, and this one is called Age of Aurum. We'll have a little read about the blurb. It's quite difficult to read on this metallic packaging in the gold foiling, but I will give it a go. Endless wishes may sound like a gilded dream, but the real magic lies in treasuring the warmth of human touch over the sparkle of gold. Not everything of value can be measured in gold. Humility is priceless when you are in a glittering cage of your own making. After all, a statue of gold cannot embrace with any warmth. The ink itself has a base of light brown, no apparent sheening, some gold shimmer, and low shading. Most of the fairy tale inks that have come across my desk, in fact all of them, I think, have shimmer in them. For a while there, they were giving clues on the packaging of the fairy tale inks as to what was coming next in the series. Not sure if they're still doing that, but that was always a bit of a fun touch. Oops, my sticker. So they've started putting the actual full name of the ink as well as the number on the bottom of the bottles. They used to just do an abbreviation, so this one, like Age of Aurum, would have been like AOA, or it would have just been AA, something like that. So I'm really pleased that they've started doing that because the ink isn't written anywhere else, or the ink name isn't written anywhere else on the bottle. So if you're not inclined to keep your packaging, that could get rather confusing. So you can see what a round little ink bomb it could potentially be. Let's try out this new ink carriage for these 20ml bottles. This one is in the brushed silver finish, and I should add that unlike these two ink carriages, which these were both gifted to me by Ferris Wheel Press, I actually purchased this one myself. So these two match quite nicely. So that's a nice little set. And I'll have to check if it comes in other finishes. I just can't remember right now. Oh yes, that's a nice little fit. There's a little bit of wiggle room, so it's not getting stuck, but it's yeah, definitely a lot more stable. I really like this compass design. on the outside, so it ends up looking like a globe in a frame, which totally ties in with the whole Ferris Wheel Press aesthetic, shall we say. Tools I'm using today, same as the last few videos actually. Paintbrush for swatching, blue pumpkin dip pen nib by Brows, and this Sailor Hokoro interchangeable nib dip pen in the 2.0 stub. Right, we've got our swatches down, so we'll watch them develop as they dry. But let's just get our label on so we remember what ink this is. Even though I read that it was going to be a light brown, I was expecting it to be a bit more goldeny, a goldeny brown than this sort of, what would you call this? More of a beigey brown, perhaps. Writing sample now. Gonna have a little chat about this ink. Now that we've done our swatches, they're drying off nicely, and we've got our writing sample here as well. I like brown inks. I really do. I have a lot of brown inks. I tend to gravitate towards brown inks, use them a lot in my everyday pens. I don't really like how these swatches look. I'm not sure what it is about them. It's just an unattractive brown in these swatches to me. However, in the writing sample, I actually quite like it because it looks like a sepia. And I think that it's much more appealing as a writing sample than as a swatch. Maybe there's just too much of it in a big poopy looking puddle in the swatch. But as it writes down on the page, it looks really nice, like sort of historical and interesting, like it might have faded with time. So I'm not quite sure what to make of that. Let me know what you think. I can see here in the swatch on the Tamari River paper, there's some nice shading happening. It says it's a low shading on the box, but this sort of chocolatey brown edge, I think, is what saves it in the writing sample for me. that it has that nice darker sort of aspect coming through. On this one, on the swatch book in here, it's just not really doing much for me, I have to say. Yeah, anyway, let me know what you think. I will do some close-ups and so forth. If you are a brown ink fan like myself and you tend to gravitate towards those, or maybe you're not, let me know what you think about this ink. Is it a thumbs up or a thumbs down? I am going unattractive in the swatches. Really like the writing. No. Yes. No. Yes. So, I don't know. I need some deciding votes here. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for being here. I do appreciate it. And I will see you in the next video. Bye.